Hey everyone. On Sunday, March 11th, a TikTok account called Mama McCrazy uploaded a video she captured in line at Popeyes, which showed a family, including a young child, being commanded to leave the store by an angry employee. Now, people get kicked out of fast food restaurants for acting a fool all the time, right? But for a family, a mom, a dad, and their children to be trespassed, and what's more, to have police 911 called on them, is actually a very rare occurrence in a freakout video. And actually, the reason this family was being treated like this is stranger still. Now, I want to clarify off tops that the family gave Mama McCrazy permission to post this video, saying they wanted it to help raise awareness about the kind of difficulties that kids like theirs face, difficulties we will get into momentarily. Let's take a look at the original footage and then dive into what really happened here, because the story around this and what happened after this is crazy.
Fine. Were you recording me before this? I wasn't, but I have witnesses. Did you record your son screaming while I was trying to scream? Yeah.
Screaming? Yeah.
He was not screaming. He was himself. You can leave the building. If you don't leave right now, I will call the police.
Go
ahead. All right, I will.
Go
ahead. I know. We're gonna get you a container somewhere else.
We're gonna get you a container somewhere else, son. I know, we'll get you a container somewhere else, son. Apparently you're
recording the illegal videotaping.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Sorry about
That's okay. What happened?
No, we're sorry, ma'am.
Look, we're just in case.
What's
She
that?
just gave us an attitude because my son was,
Doing that.
stimming. He's autistic.
He's autistic?
But she gave us an attitude, and that's what bothered me immensely.
I understand.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
totally understand. My kid's got special needs too. I get
And
it.
there was no need for it. We really just came to bring him to get you.
And I had
containers.
just told him, "Hey, please use your quiet voice, then it's like,
Kids are gonna be kids.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
It's a male in a white shirt, jeans, a female, about 5'2", wearing a kind of a bohemian blouse, and they have a little boy in a red shirt, red and shirt, and they refuse to leave the building. The male is Hispanic,
6 foot,
6 foot.
300 pounds.
He's telling me he's 300 pounds.
Mama, that's what we
sorry.
asked her because we
The
didn't
female
speak
is
to him.
Hispanic.
Sorry.
She's wearing a kind of a greenish bohemian top.
Thank you. It's okay. Have a good day.
So the woman who recorded this video, Mama McCrazy, whose real name is actually Linda Rosa, was in line to order herself some food to go when a little boy in line ahead of her started making loud noises, yelling in a way that made this employee here believe the child was simply throwing a standard fit. In actuality, their son is autistic, and his behavior wasn't caused by him being a poorly behaved child throwing a standard bratty tantrum, but by something called stimming, a series of repetitive movements or noises that may seem odd to someone who didn't understand it, but is actually attributed to a coping behavior that helps autistic kids manage their emotions, cope with situations they may find overwhelming, or excitement that's getting the better of them. In other words, for an autistic person, it's a perfectly normal behavior and nothing to be ashamed of. And if this employee had not known that this child was autistic, maybe we could attribute her behavior to a simple misunderstanding. But in fact, the parents did inform the employee that their son was autistic. And even after explaining that, she proceeded to command them to leave and called 911 on them anyway. The parents seem embarrassed by the situation and the scene being caused, even though they and their son have done nothing wrong here. But everyone besides this Karen here seems understanding, from our main character recording even down to this young man here who politely handed them their order and even apologized profusely, I'm assuming for his co-employee's outrageous behavior. Linda also specifies that this family wasn't even in line for 2 minutes before this happened, which is crazy. But it actually gets even worse, because when the little boy's godparents got wind of what had happened to him here, they decided to comment on the original video, pinpointing the exact location of this particular Popeyes, which ended up being 930 East I'm going to butcher this, Betaravia Road in Enos Ranchos, Santa Maria. But they also, more pointedly, explain that they went to the location themselves to ask this employee to explain her behavior. And the same employee then proceeded to call 911 on the godparents. Linda's TikTok video got over 11 million views, prompting countless comments in support of the family and the little boy in question, and outrage at the woman who would call 911 on an autistic child for such an absurd reason. And it didn't take long at all for the details about this Popeyes employee to come out. Because you might have noticed that in one of those messages left by the account that belongs to the godparents of this child, Warriors 1984, they also mentioned that this woman is a manager. And the manager's name, the lady in this video, is Amber. And sure enough, Karen Hunter Danish, or Danish, maybe, took an interest in this story as well and decided to cross-reference the name given in this user's comment, Amber, with the name provided on the police report for the incident. Now, sure enough, our story's Karen, who we also find out, by the way, wasn't just an employee of this Popeyes location, but the manager, is revealed to be a 41-year-old woman named Amber Turk. Dinesh also called the Popeyes in question and asked about her employment status, but was told at the time that the location was unwilling to officially comment on that. When people got a hold of Amber's full name, her social media accounts were flooded with angry comments, perhaps unsurprisingly, and she ended up deleting all of her social media accounts, which we still luckily have these pictures of, but all of these accounts I'm showing you are actually long gone. Popeye's social media accounts were similarly flooded, and you can actually go back to this day to their old videos from March and a few even from April on TikTok, it's people's short attention spans, and see the hundreds of comments calling them out for this. Now, just out of curiosity, I decided to take a peep at the Yelp reviews for this location, and I could not believe what I found there. The reviews for this location, including reviews from way before this incident, are terrible. Jason E. said his son found a chunk of spine in his chicken breast. Angelina J. commented that this Popeyes location was the most poorly managed location she's ever encountered. She points to long wait times, problems with cleanliness, and poor customer service, while Alberto B., who claims to be a former employee, said they once tried to cut up an expired piece of chicken and sell it to the customers, a display of disdain for the customer that he found so appalling, he quit. This user says they waited over 25 minutes after being assured that it would take only 5, but the employees still left items out of the order and ignored the customer when they tried to ask staff questions. Matthew D. said, "I don't know what's been going on with this Popeyes chicken lately, and I normally don't post reviews, but this is absolutely necessary. It seems like the whole staff is smoking weed." Meanwhile, a lot of people also took notice of this child and his parents, and it's worth noting that some good things did come out of this for the kid in question, who, by the way, is named Nathaniel. Notably, the former Tampa Bay football player and Hall of Famer Warren Sapp reached out to Dinesh on TikTok after seeing his coverage of the incident and offered to send Nathaniel a signed ball. Other important people took notice as well, notably the CEO, Michelle Graham, and COO, Jackie Bonta, of a children's nonprofit called Children's Resource and Referral, or CRR. They saw Mama McCrazy's viral video and reached out to the parents directly to set up a protest outside the Santa Maria Popeyes. And protest they did.
Children's Resource and Referral of Santa Barbara County is a nonprofit organization who helps foster children and families in need. COO Jackie Banta is a mother of an autistic child and says she too has gone through similar situations. She saw the viral video on social media with over 4 million views and thousands of comments. She and her team wanted to spread awareness about the struggles parents and families go through with autistic children. So they organized this protest. The father, Hugo Rubalcaba, says today is not about their incident. It is a day to stand in solidarity with all children and people with autism.
We are all human, and instead of having attitude towards one another, we should just be compassionate. That's it. what love for one another. And that's what today's about. Today's about awareness. We're getting messages from people in Australia, people from in Brazil, and they're telling us this happens here. This was just one instant that angel happened to record when we didn't even realize she was recording.
Mama McCrazy even joined in the fun as well, along with her own son.
Pretty sure I'm banned from every Popeyes, but here I am. We're at Popeyes. Let's go be a voice for everyone. Thank you. Hey, Dad.
Thanks everybody for coming. We really appreciate everybody.
And you might be thinking, okay, I know that when the location was originally called right after, they refused to comment. But what happened after all this protest stuff? Did they finally fire this woman? Our main character, Linda, actually went back to that location 6 days later after the news stories and protests had already happened and inquired about Amber's employment status in person. Shockingly, she was told the woman still works there. So even after all these terrible reviews, her outrageous conduct towards the parents and then godparents after, their social media accounts being flooded, and even a full-blown protest outside their location that was covered by multiple local news channels, Amber Rose Turk was not fired. But perhaps even stranger than that, Popeyes never even bothered addressing the incident at all, and has been completely silent about this ever since, probably hoping that everyone will forget about what happened after a couple of months, but that's what I'm here for, to remind everyone that Popeyes actually never apologized or addressed this in any way. They're hoping that you'll forget about this, and manager Amber was never fired. She may still work there to this day. I actually tried calling the location, but as soon as I said her name and asked to speak with her, the employee who answered the phone hung up on me. So do with that what you will. On the bright side, though, this kid got a huge outpour of support, signed football from a Hall of Famer, not a bad gig, and the family got the chance to rally people for a message they thought was important. And all of our hesitations about eating Popeyes in the first place, what with all the roach infestation videos and terrible service and poor conditions, were reconfirmed. Okay, that's it for this story. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next time.